And welcome back to the 2018 World Boys Tournament here at Blacktown International Sports Park in the beautiful west of Sydney, Australia. Glad to have you aboard. We're here for the final game of day 2 here in the tournament, where we have the Japanese team taking on the Skyroos. The Japanese team have swept all in front of them so far, and this will be a big test for the Skyroos to see whether or not they can stop the onslaught of the mighty Japanese juggernaut. With me in the commentary box, as always, Paul McCulloch. PMAC, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you, Cam. Good afternoon, Mackenzie. And good afternoon and good evening, viewers right the way across this globe.
And again, also joining us up here in the booth, it's a pleasure to have Mackenzie Payton aboard. Mackenzie, thank you for joining us again.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here for this last game of the day. It's a beautiful night here in Sydney. I love it here.
Yeah, been a pretty wonderful day here in Sydney. It's topped out in the low 20s. A beautiful sunny day, and the sun just heading down behind the horizon in the west as we go to about 5:15 p.m. here on the east coast of Australia. So hopefully you're enjoying this tournament in all its forms from wherever you may be watching. And we are going to get things underway very shortly. We've been told 5:15 will be the first pitch, and the Japanese pitcher just getting things ready now to get that underway. And so I will run you through the Japanese defensive lineup before we get going. In right field is Shanya Ara. In centre field is Yugo Hoshi. In right field, Hiroto Hiraguchi. And third base, Takumi Miwa. The shortstop is Shun Hayakawa. The second baseman is Yaki Mutsuda. A first baseman is Akihiro Sahara. Behind the plate is Ion Ikeda. And on the mound is Rei Takahashi. And Takahashi ready to go to work now with the first pitch of the game. Fires it in and is in there for a called strike. Mackenzie, you've seen these Japanese boys earlier in this tournament. What can we expect from them in this game?
Pitching. Pitching is everything with this team. They can move the ball more than most college players, most professional players. It's unreal how well they are.
Again, it's the way the Asian culture have their upbringing in baseball. It means everything. You'll see a lot of pitchers will have almost the exact same. They'll almost have the exact same action. They will be very methodical in their wind-ups and their deliveries, and that's exactly what, as Mackenzie just said, we see a big breaking pitch there from Takahashi. Misses though. Very methodical in the way they go about it, and that's exactly what their coaches and managers and pitching coaches want them to do. You'll see that big glove lift, the real big leg kick, and then explode to the plate. That one is down low. And they're going to ask, did he swing? I think the count, yeah, no, count now 3 balls, 1 strike. Liam Padovan leading things off for the Skyroos. Jordan Martin and Matt Haynes are the due-ups for them. And a count now for 3 balls and 1 strike on their lead-off, Liam Padovan. 3-1 pitch, catches the outside edge for a called strike. That'll fill the count. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And yeah, nothing the Japanese pitchers hate more than issuing a walk at any stage, let alone first up.
And Cam, we just actually did see that front edge, and they're being taken as a strike. We've seen it all weekend. And
swing and a miss from Padovan. He will go down on strikes. They will make the throw to first base as the catcher scooped it on the half volley, but Padovan gone on strikes.
Yeah, some of the guys haven't been too warming to it, but the umpires have been totally consistent, and it's been a strike every time it's been out on that outside edge.
So we've seen what? This is game 6 on this diamond now, and it's been a strike for 6 games, so I don't know how long it's going to take them to adjust to it, but they need to. As Jordan Martin steps into the batter's box. He swings at the first breaking pitch he sees from Takahashi.
And it's actually funny, Cam, that you actually, some of the guys were saying, are they going to be ready for the game? And the Japanese have been training for the last 2 hours.
Oh, the Japanese are always ready for a game. Don't worry about that. You just give them a time and they'll be ready.
They'll be ready 2 hours early.
Correct. So if they think their game's at 5 o'clock, they'll be ready to take the field at about 4:30, and they'll be probably, as you say, probably training from about 3 o'clock onwards to be ready. There's already action in the bullpen for Japan. They've also already got a man up there throwing, making sure he's more than warm for when he gets called upon. Takahashi now with 1 strike on Martin. Make it 2 as he fires in another. It's almost his standard pitch is that breaking pitch, and then he'll go to a fastball or maybe a slider as his change pitch. But at the moment, he's throwing that beautiful left-handed breaking pitch. And the Skyroos just not adjusting to it at the moment. And a swing and a miss from Martin. Make it 2 K2s to start the day for Takahashi and Japan. Well on top early here against the Skyroos. No score on the board, however, in the top of the first inning. You'll have to forgive me, my voice is a little bit croaky after 9 innings of baseball myself this afternoon. Very fortunate to have a great team around me, and we got away with a 4-3 win in a major semi-final, so we're on to the grand final in a couple of weeks. Unfortunately, we won't have a lot of our star power, but that is what it is.
You'll deal with it.
Well, it's another game of baseball. We'll go out and just do our best and do whatever we can, but unfortunately we lose 3 ladies, 3 of our best players. They're off to the World Cup in Florida, the Women's World Cup, which kicks off on the 22nd of August, off the top of my head, I believe. Swing and a miss from Matt Haynes. And one of those girls was lights out today for us, pitched 5 innings, only gave up 1 hit. She was superb on the mound, Maddie T. So I wish her all the best over there in the tournament at Florida, even though she'll be playing shortstop most of the time. This one off the plate and into the bat net. Count of 1 ball, 2 strikes on Matt Haynes. So Haynes trying to keep the inning alive. Takahashi looking to get into the dugout early. 1-2 pitch on its way. Swung on, fouled off down the first base side, out of play.
And Matt Haynes, he knew he got contact, but he just wasn't sure exactly where the contact went. He got halfway down and thought, no, he hadn't heard anyone call foul, so he just kept running.
It's the way to do it. Unless you hear one of the umpires call you back or send you back, you keep going. The umpires will tell you soon enough. Don't worry about that. Takahashi, another 1-2 pitch. This one is lined into right field. This will be a base hit for Haynes. Doesn't need to worry about any foul calls there. He has the first base hit of the baseball game. And the Skyroos get a runner aboard. A 2-out single to Matt Haynes gets him aboard and extends the innings a little bit further for the Skyroos against Japan.
And happy as a clam is Matt Hayes.
That will do the confidence no end of good for the Skyroos.
I think that patience today is the key for the Skyroos. They just got to get on base. You're not going to have too many doubles, triples. You just got to get on base and just keep fighting.
Yeah, you just bit by bit, just do what you can and enjoy your baseball. Pop up into the gap between centre and second. A little bit of confusion. It's going to drop in. The second baseman, Mitsuda, was heading out for it and looked like he had it covered. And then whether he got a call from centre fielder Hoshi or not, either way, they both looked at each other, and the moment they looked at each other, they were in trouble. The ball drops in for a base hit for Verez, and all of a sudden the Skyroos runners at first and second with 2 out.
Who'd have thought?
Wow. You don't often see that from the Japanese team. Usually they are so precise on the movements of who goes where and who does what. A little bit of confusion between Hoshi and Mitsuda. And all of a sudden, the Skyroos can threaten here in the top of the first. Logan Harris to try and drive in the runner from second. See how he goes. Swings away at the first pitch.
Well, the other thing about this, Cam and Mackenzie, it's a case of the aura has actually just been, a little bit of the gloss has been taken off the Japanese side, because the Skyroos say, oh, we can hit them. We know what we can do. Or we'll have a go anyway.
And that's all you can do, PMAC. All you can do is have a go.
Definitely a little bit of confidence goes a long way in this game. So, 2 hits, 2 errors from the Japanese, that's a big confidence boost for the Skyroos.
Logan Harris waits on the next pitch. He lifts this into foul territory. He's going to get out of play. The Japanese catcher will chase it to the dugout.
Ooh.
Couldn't see. It didn't missed everyone down there, did it?
Yes, it missed everyone, just barely. That almost got 2 of our other interns that are down there.
That's why we
watching baseball.
You're at a baseball ground. Keep your eyes and wits about you. A lot of netting goes around baseball grounds now to try and protect the spectators, but you still need to be watching what's going on. Takahashi, 0-2 count on Harris. Runners at first and second, 2 out. Fires in a fastball just a little bit outside. As I said, with that outside corner has been deadly, but with that left-hander angle, he just couldn't get it back to the to where the umpire was happy to call strike 3.
A lot of noise coming from the dugouts.
Skyra is trying to get a run. Japan have looked really good. This is a third strike, and it bounces down. No, a little chop foul, okay. Yeah, I saw it did hit him on the leg, but I thought it might have just been a swing through that hit him on the leg. But Harris will survive. You get another crack at a 1-2 pitch with 2 out and runners at first and second. Be a massive confidence builder if the Sky Blues could find a base hit here and score a run in the top of the first. So Takahashi just takes his time, comes to the plate, fastball in the dirt. Well handled behind the plate by Okita. That could have very easily have gotten away from him and moved the runners around 90 feet. But he blocks it very, very well. Again, well disciplined, well coached. He stays down. The count goes to 2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 out and 2 on. Deuces wild here at Blacktown. This one's low and inside, and again another good job by Okita, scooting across to his left and getting it in the glove as he provided a block with his body. So this could be a big pitch in the stakes of the inning. Full count, runners at first and second with 2 out. They'll be in motion. As Takahashi throws a payoff pitch and it's slapped down the third base line. It is going to stay on the outside of the diamond where Takahashi will pick it up. That will be a foul ball. We will reset and we will do it all again.
This is a great at-bat from the Sky Roos.
Yeah, Logan Harris really battling away. He fell behind 1 and 2. And looked like he might have been easy meat for Takahashi, but he's dug in. Now he's put a real quality plate appearance together. Another full count pitch on its way. Swung on, slapped towards the first baseman who doesn't get it. He'll have to dish it up to Takahashi in cover. And as we say, so well schooled, so well trained, so well drilled. Takahashi was across there in cover on the mound. And Sahara, who knocked it down, wasn't going to get to the bag himself. Had to just dish it off to Takahashi coming across in cover. And they will get to 3-1 for the third out. The Skyroos will leave a couple stranded. But a good confidence-building inning that for the Skyroos. And halfway through the first innings, we're still locked at 0-0 between the Skyroos and Japan.
Chips. The canteen closing at 6. Oh, turn it, yeah.
And welcome back to Blacktown International Sports Park, where we're ready to head to the bottom of the first innings and the first chance to see the Japanese boys with the sticks in their hands And Mackenzie made a good point during the break about Japan on this diamond.
Yeah, they haven't played on this diamond yet, so a little bit of nerves, I'm sure, coming into this larger stadium than what they're used to on diamonds 2 and 3. So I'm sure that has a little bit. The lighting is a little different over
Correct.
here as well. So that pop up into center field, I'm sure that it's a little different lighting than what they're used to.
Leading off for the Japanese team, Yugi Hoshi. And Hoshi's shown a couple of bunts and withdrawn the bat a couple of times. I'm guessing he's just waiting for Jacob Foster to throw him a strike before he'll swing at it. But we shall soon see. Again shows bunt, and Foster misses high and a wide. The defensive lineup for the Skyroos in left field is Jordan Martin. In centre field, Callum Donnelly. In right field, Owen Glover. At third base, Logan Harris. The shortstop is Matt Haynes. The second baseman, Liam Padovan. The first baseman, Jacob Veras. Behind the plate, Shannon Gibbons. On the mound, Jacob Foster. And with 4 pitches, Hoshi finds himself a walk and heads up there to first base. Yeah, I imagine it would be a little bit daunting, the 15-year-old boys. All of a sudden they come into an enclosed stadium, having played on what you would call sort of park diamonds out the back. And the crowd is in, not a massive crowd, but a nice crowd nonetheless to watch and cheer the boys on.
Oh, yeah.
Here, Kawa into the batter's box. The first pitch and the runner goes. Hoshi will steal second base, something you'll see a lot from the Asian teams. They will put runners in motion. They will play short ball. They will manufacture runs. They will do whatever is needed to keep the scoreboard ticking over and to keep their base runners heading around. Hayakawa waits. The runner steals third. No throw.
That's one thing about this Japanese team is they are fast. You have to be on your toes. You have to be ready because they're going to steal the bases.
Part, again, of Asian baseball. It is a massive part of Asian baseball, and again, you don't get that lead-off spot in an Asian representative team unless you can run all bases in about 12 or 13 seconds and do 4-second sprints between bases, all that sort of stuff. It's built into their culture. It's built into their baseballing culture. And again, it's something they work on and train on. And when you come up against, especially an Asian baseball team, that they are going to play a lot of that short ball. They're going to hit and run. They're going to bunt. They're going to manufacture runs. They're going to steal bases. It is on, and you need to be on as a defensive player the entire time. When you're playing against the Japanese, you've got to be looking for these sorts of things, imagining the next play, what it's going to be. As Foster just misses outside, and he will walk Hayakawa as well. So back-to-back walks issued up by Jacob Foster to start this one.
So runners at the corners for Japan.
Again, Foster probably just feeling it a little bit on the mound against probably one of the strongest nations in baseball. If you were talking about a top 3 nations in all of baseball, Japan and America would be number 1 and number 2 above all. And then if you were talking about amateur baseball, generally you'd throw in either the Cubans or the Dominican Republicans. They would be the other one you would look at as one of the strongest, especially amateur or junior baseball countries in the world. A lot of the Latin American countries catching up to them very quickly. Places like Venezuela always produce great young baseballers. Jacob Foster misses again, having a hard time trying to locate that strike zone at the moment, Jacob Foster. I think he's thrown 1 strike out of 9 pitches. That one's going to be hit, popped up into foul territory behind first base, going back Verez. He's not going to get to it. It's going to just carry too far for him. It's going to land in foul territory. Count's going to be 2 balls and 1 strike. If you are enjoying the World Boys Tournament from Blacktown International Sports Park, we remind you that there is a Under-15s World Championship, a WSBC, World Baseball Championship, all for the Under-15 boys. That does kick off next week in Panama. So go to the World Baseball website, look that one up on Google. You'll be able to find links. So a lot of countries competing on that. Bring a little bit more information on that one as this game progresses. Here in front of us, Foster still struggling. This one hit hard into right field, but coming forward and taking a great catch out there is Owen Glover. Fires it into second base, looking for a double play, and almost pulled off an improbable double play. But a line drive from Shunya Are, and he just lined it out to Owen Glover in right field, who came sliding in on his knees and took a wonderful catch, then popped up and fired to second base, trying to catch Hayakawa asleep, and almost did.
As a pitcher, that has to give him a little bit more confidence, knowing that he can throw strikes and his defense is going to be there to back him up.
That's the biggest thing for the pitcher, is to not worry about trying to strike a side out. It doesn't matter how good a pitcher you are, you're not going to strike 27 blokes out. It doesn't matter. You know, the best in the world, the major leaguers on $40-50 million a year, they're not going to strike 27 guys out. They need to get ground balls and fly balls and allow some of their teammates to do the work, and Owen Glover really helped his mate out there. So Foster now facing Miwa. Miwa hits this one foul down the first base side, out of play. He's starting to settle into his work a little bit, Jacob, after that catch. Now has 1 ball and 2 strikes on Miwa. Runners at second and third. There is 1 out here in the bottom of the first. No score on the board at the moment between the Japanese and the Skyroos. Foster reaches back, tries a curveball, and just loses control of that. Goes over the top and the back of Takumi Miwa. And will level the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Reaches back, tries another fastball. This has popped up into shallow centre field. Callum Donnelly is out there and actually had to go back a little bit. It travelled a bit further than I thought it was going to travel. Donnelly did a good job in making sure he took the catch. Couldn't do much about the runner at third tagging up and scoring. So a sac fly for Takumi Miwa. The first run on the board for the Japanese as Yuga Hoshi crosses the plate for their first run this evening.
Japan, and now the batter is number 11, Ray Takahashi.
Oh.
Takahashi sees one pitch, thumps it out towards Glover, who makes it a lot easier than he did last time around. He could actually keep on his feet while he caught that one. So a couple of catches out there for Owen Glover, and the Skyroos do a pretty good job in the end. They allow a couple of walks to start the innings, but then close down the Japanese. The Japanese do cross one across the plate, leave one stranded, and after 1 completed innings here at Blacktown International Sports Park, it is the Japanese 1, the Skyroos 0. And back here at beautiful Blacktown International Sports Park, we head to the top of the second inning. And pitcher Jacob Foster will lead off the Skyroos. No changes that were identified to us during the break, so I'd say the Japanese will probably play a couple of innings in their standard positions, and then they'll make a couple of changes. So Takahashi on the mound to face Foster. Foster's seen 2 pitches, both balls. So he's in front 2-0.
You've got to take advantage of being ahead
Correct.
with this Japanese team.
As a hitter, you should be looking fastball now, but you should be taking all the way. And Foster, that's a weak swing at a pitch he really shouldn't be swinging at. You're 2-0, you're the lead-off for the inning. You really should be looking to either get to 3-0 and put the pressure on the pitcher, or you should be taking the pitch. And if it goes to 2 balls, 1 strike, then you've got a good chance at this pitch to look at maybe a fastball somewhere down the zone as Takahashi comes with a curve for a called strike. And that looks like his stock pitch. So in my case, at a 2-1 there, as a hitter, I'd have been sitting on that curveball because that looks like what he's throwing for his strikes. Then he changes it up with the fastball. If he beats you with the fastball, so be it. 2-2 fastball is on the money for strike number 3. And if he beats you with that pitch, he beats you with that pitch. That's all there is to it. But when you get yourself ahead 2-0 like that, you don't give up a wishy-washy swing, unfortunately, like Jacob did. Make the pitcher earn it.
The center fielder, Callum Donnelly.
If you're not used to seeing pitches like this, it's an adjustment for sure.
Absolutely.
For these teams.
Absolutely, it's an adjustment because all of a sudden you're seeing quality curveballs and you're trying to adjust to that, and then he throws, probably throwing in the mid-80s, miles per hour fastballs as a 15-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, very difficult. Takahashi again fires in a fastball. This one fouled off by Donnelly. Fouled off 2 pitches in a row has Donnelly. And he falls behind 0-2. But you're right, about the good thing for the Skyroos and the other Australian teams that are facing Japan and Korea especially, is Takahashi's 0-2 pitch is sort of power bunted. He'll get away with it. It wasn't a bunt, it was a sort of an excuse me swing. The ball just dribbles down the first base line foul. The great thing is it shows them the level they've got to get to if they want to get to, say, college or the Japanese leagues or anything like that. You want to be a professional baseballer and you're playing the sport at one of the elite levels here at the moment. It shows you how much further you've got to work as a baseballer to get there.
Absolutely.
Like all sports, you've got to play against people that are better than you to show you how much you need to work at your game to become better yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And right here, fighting against this pitcher, fouling off balls, that's a good sign.
And there you go. He puts the ball in play. Okay, he may get thrown out. It goes to second baseman Mitsuda, who does throw him out at first. But a very good at bat by Callum Donnelly. He battled away, put a ball in play.
Mm-hmm.
You put a ball in play, sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes, Mitsuda will kick that or throw it away and, might turn into a double, might turn into a run-scoring opportunity. But all you can do is put it in play, and that's exactly what Donnelly did. So good job there from Callum. Brings Owen Glover to the plate. You saw Glover take some great catches in the bottom of the first inning. See if he can do something with the plate. Rolls it down the third base line. Tough play coming up for me where the third baseman fires it across. Is it in time? Yes, it is. Great play. Takumi Miwa, the third baseman. He had a slow roller coming at him at third base. He had to charge forward, scoop it up, throw on the run, and he gets the job done. As the Japanese players are just going to do a little bit of a line-up.
Yeah, they do that actually at the completion of every fielding inning, Cam. They go there, they have a little bit of a chat and like a team hurrah, whatever it is that you actually call it. But you touched on Glover, how he took a couple of pretty specky catches out there at right field. And I just stuck my head out the door and watched him come running into the dugout, and everybody was cheering him, big high fives and a huge grin on his face. It was from ear to ear, and you just think, this is what this tournament is all about.
Well, we've seen him on the previous couple of occasions that
he was catching.
The Aussies play. Yeah, he did catch in the early game, and then he was replaced by Martin. And in the very first game that we saw the Skyroos play
was yesterday, last night.
Yeah, unfortunately, I know I've rubbed him out. He was obviously exchanged later in the game, but yeah, did certainly catch. I think he might have played like third base or on the left side of the diamond at some stage as well in one of those previous games, but he is doing a nice job out at right field at the moment.
Well and truly, and as I said, it's just what this whole tournament is about. It's not just participation, but it's the cultural significance, and we saw a little bit of a ceremony and a welcoming with some local traditional people that were here at Blacktown in the barbecue break for I think that's what you'd call it, Mackenzie. And,
yes.
So they were doing some dancing and rocking out to some didgeridoo tunes, and it was actually quite good. And the guys, a lot of the teams actually put 3 and 4 people together and had a go at trying to attempt the circular breathing and the uniqueness of trying to play a didgeridoo.
Not the easiest thing in the world to do.
Certainly not.
Very difficult to tell your brain to breathe in while you're already breathing out. Very difficult thing to do.
Game in front of us here. We're about to lead off the second, the bottom of the second, as we just see the first batter.
Sahara, and he pops it up into left field. Looks like the catch is taken out there. It is Jordan Martin coming forward to get hold of that one. So Martin with the catch in left field retires Sahara on the first pitch of the bottom of the second. Also a very respectful thing the Japanese do when they come to the plate is just bow and dip their lid to the umpire. As a sign of respect and thanks for the umpires that come out and do these games. I can tell you that they will not make a fortune umpiring these games. These people, they do it for the love of the sport and for the fact that they need somebody to call these games. Otherwise, these games wouldn't take place.
You may find, Cam, that a lot of the times for this tournament, all are volunteers.
There we go. I know they're getting fed, which is something the umpires are very happy about. But
Fed and watered.
As I said, very, very rarely in tournaments like this, as you say, PMAC, do they get paid? And if they do, it's not a great deal of money. You're never going to get rich umpiring sort of tournaments like this.
I don't think you're going to get rich umpiring full stop, Cam.
Or you can if you make a good living at it. There's some umpires in America that make a very handy living at it.
Oh, but we're not in America.
And if you're good enough, you'll get there. If you can be a good enough umpire, you can make it there. Hiriguchi is the hitter. And he swings through.
There's a lot of frustration on his face and in his body language. I'm not sure.
I think,
he's down a little bit, but
I think they're expecting pitching around the 85 mile per hour mark, and they're getting pitching around the 65 mile an hour mark, and it really is. It's messing with their timing. Jacob Foster comes in again. This is a high fastball popped up in the middle of the diamond. Foster gets off the mound, wants it himself, and catches it himself. Who said pitchers just pitch and point, P-Mac?
Pitchers are allowed to catch. I thought they just had to point.
Yeah, they just pitch and point, don't they?
Yeah, you get off the mound and point.
Let everyone know exactly where it is, and then blame them if they don't catch it.
Correct.
We talked about how important the Japanese pitching was. Well, for the Japanese team batting-wise, the pitching for the Roos is just as important. They're not used to this. They have to also adjust to a little bit slower, not as much movement. So it's also an adjustment for them as well.
Very much so. And as we were saying, if you're expecting pitching coming at 80 miles per hour and you're only getting as this one chopped to the left side, cut off nicely by Harris. He'll have to throw hard. He does throw hard and fires him out at first base.
That is a brilliant play. Absolutely brilliant.
Logan Harris, a lot of ranging to do to his left, and then had to fire a throw quickly and has a good arm. Fires out Mitsuda at first base. So a 1-2-3 inning for the Skyroos. They shut the Japanese down here in the second. And after 2 completed innings here at Blacktown International Sports Park, Japan lead the Skyroos 1-0.
And I don't care who you are or what sport that you're playing. You see that, doesn't matter what team you are from, but that was an absolutely sensational play. It was hit hard into the hot corner, and the third baseman drifting across with it, and he took 2 bounces straight into his chest, and he fires it out. So absolutely stunning play. That's what you come here to watch.
We're heading to the third inning.
And don't forget also, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that you can actually get us on if you like to send us a message so as we can give you a cheerio. There are a couple of ways that you can do that, and one of them is the Twitter feed, and the Twitter handle should be coming up on your screen very, very shortly, as all the button pushing tonight is being done by Mackenzie, the getting a bit of learning on the job. So doing a fine job there. And the Twitter handle at Summer of Baseball, and Cameron's monitoring that, and he's also put out the new link to go to so you can actually hear and view what we're doing. So it's at Summer of Baseball, and you can also get us on the short messaging system. The number is +614 12 203 068. So it's +614 12 203 068. And that's the way that you can get us here in the broadcast booth, and we'll gladly give you a shout out as we're about to go into the top of the third inning. And coming into the plate for the Skyroos is Shannon Gibbons.
Yeah, the number 9 hitter in the lineup, Shannon Gibbons. He will lead things off in the top of the third for the Skyroos.
And I'll stick my hand up very early in this game, guys, and it is panning out to be nothing what I expected.
Me either.
Well, as I said, Japan have basically taken all before them so far and have really dominated in every game they've played. And the Skyroos we've seen twice on this diamond, and twice they've really struggled to stay close to their opposition. So we didn't think that there would be much in this. As we see 3 strikes now for Gibbons on 3 straight pitches. He goes down on strikes.
And that's not meant disrespectfully towards the Skyroos, but we just also remember that most of these guys in the Skyroos are the younger age bracket. So, and as a result, and you can see just by the physique. But now we're going to go back to the top of the order for the Roos, and it will be Liam Padovan. Sorry, just looking over your shoulder there.
Yeah, got terrible riding, PMAC. I'm an old catcher with arthritic hands, mate. You know what it's like.
Unfortunately, yes, I do. But the first pitch was a ball to Padovan.
And Takahashi reaches back now, misses again, low and outside.
And now Takahashi just has a bit of a stretch and a look out to the centre field, just to stretch and gather his composure as he delivers the next pitch.
But again, very regimented, very routine, fires it in. Padovan swings and misses to go to 2 balls and 1 strike. You won't see a lot of variation in the way the Japanese pitchers pitch. They will have one set of motions, and barring runners on plate, you'll see the exact same thing time and time again. It's all about repetition of motion. That breaking pitch again on the inside, Padovan swings over the top. 2-2. So Takahashi into this top of the 3rd inning. Been plenty of work up in the Japanese bullpen. Another lefty up there throwing as we speak. Takahashi misses well outside to fill the count. 3 balls, 2 strikes and 1 away. Here in the top of the 3rd, it's 1-0 Japan over the Skyroos. Takahashi, the full count pitch, it's that curveball. It's in there for a called strike. Padovan couldn't pull the trigger and watches it sail across the plate for strike number 3.
Yeah, that one was too good to look at, and so that's going to bring Jordan Martin to the plate.
Yeah, tough again for these Skyroos. You've got a left-handed pitcher throwing big breaking pitches across you, and you know they're coming across and down and into you, and they look like they're going to miss high and outside when he lets them go, and they just continue to come at you and break at you. And sometimes they'll let you looking pretty silly. Line drive straight at Miwa, and he will come up with it. A good rip by Jordan Martin, but only as far as Takumi Miwa. And he will take the catch for the 3rd out. So back-to-back, 3 up, 3 down innings for the Japanese. And again, they will get together and just discuss things and have their little rev up. And we'll be back with the bottom of the 3rd inning very shortly. And back at Blacktown International Sports Park, you're tuned in to the Sports Broadcasting Australia broadcast of the 2018 World Boys Tournament. Here from Blacktown International Sports Park, Big Cam Hickson here with you, PMAC Paul McCulloch and Mackenzie Payton, all here to bring you the action between Japan and the Skyroos. And bottom of the 3rd innings, Ion Ikeda, the catcher for Japan, will have his first at-bat. Jacob Foster just struggling with his curveball there at the moment. Really trying to work over the curveball and just can't get it down. In fact, is that still Jacob Foster? I don't think it is.
21.
Yeah, no, that's still Jacob Foster.
He
It
just-
seemed like a little bit of a different action on those curveballs. He was really falling away towards the first base side, and he really must try to come towards the plate more. That's a much better pitch and gets a result. Gets a called strike. You know, those first couple of curveballs, he was almost falling sideways off the mound. And not being a pitcher and never wanting to be a pitcher, knowing that you must come at the plate. Pop-up may get a result. It's going to come down in foul territory. First base is after it, catches after it, and it just lands in the Skyroos dugout. Wasn't far away, but another good pitch from Foster there. And that fills the count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, very difficult if you're not actually moving your whole body weight toward the plate and going over that front leg to get much drive towards the plate and keep control of the ball.
You know, it must be a little intimidating to see these pitchers from Japan putting so much movement on it.
This one is lined into right field, and Ikeda has himself a base hit. But you're right, yeah, these guys, you know, these Japanese guys have probably been working on those pitches for, what are they now, under 15s, probably 5 or 6 years, probably from the, you know, the age of sort of under 10s and when they first start working on playing baseball rather than T-ball and stuff like that.
And the batter number 6, Yuga Hashi.
And it's something that's come into the game a lot more in the younger ages in the last probably 5 to 10 years than what was previously around. For a long time, curveballs and sliding pitches and that weren't allowed in the younger age groups.
Yeah, we weren't allowing them in Australia until the kids were actually 15 and above. It just apparently because it was for development, as we see the runner go.
Yeah, throw not in time from Gibbons. And Ikeda will steal second base. So yeah, it's taken us a little while down here to catch up with the rest of the world in terms of youth baseball. But we are slowly but surely we're getting our heads around, especially the American model of the Little League age groups. We're slowly but surely getting our heads around that and becoming competitive.
And the good thing, actually, you touch on Little League, Cam, and we've discussed it at various lengths at different times, but the Little League concept has been such a refreshing development for the sport here in Australia because it's giving, as we just see the next pitch coming.
Big breaking pitch from Foster. There's the better pitch.
Yeah, it just gives so much more opportunity for so many more kids rather than we used to have the old format of maybe 16 to 20 of the elite kids going and playing in their round robins, as we see the third
Strike
base
3 called on the batter on Hoshi. I know, in fact, it's only
No.
strike 2. I thought he was at 2-2
So did I.
with that good curveball. But now 2-2 it must be, as Ikeda steals third base.
Yeah, so the pathway to international ballparks is actually quite good.
Curveball hit into left field. Martin's not going to be able to make the catch. He'll have to one-hop it. He will hold Hoshi to a single, but that will score Ikeda from third base. So the Japanese have their second run on the board, courtesy of Yugi Hoshi's RBI single to 7, and Ion Ikeda, the man crossing the plate for that second run. But yeah, it really is also on the back of the age groups, as we said, with the World Cups and everything coming into it now as the runner goes. Gibbons will have no throw on
chance.
a low outside pitch from Foster. Having the 13s, 15s, 17s, 19s sort of world championships and Australia actually embracing that and getting involved in all of those age groups is great to see too, and having tournaments in those age groups to decide who the players are to go away for those tournaments. Something that Baseball Australia has worked on very well, as this one gets away from Gibbons, gets to the back net, and that will allow Hoshi to go from second to third.
You just took the words out of my mouth, Cam, because I was going to say the actual pathway systems and what the development officers around the country of Australia has actually been doing to ensure that our models and our development models actually mirror what's going on in the rest of the world.
Next pitch from Foster just misses upstairs. 3 straight balls now on Shun Hayakawa. Foster doing a good job of just trying to hang in there. Can't get that one to come down, and that'll be ball 4.
As we just put the kiss of death on him.
Second walk issued up to Hayakawa. He will walk for the second time tonight. Now runners at the corners with nobody out here in the bottom of the third inning, and this is where the Japanese just tend to be able to grind you into the dirt. There is no relenting from this Japanese lineup. Now that they've got runners on, they've scored a run in this inning. You will expect that this runner will steal second base on the first pitch because Gibbons doesn't have a great arm, gets a great jump on Foster and trots into second base. And now it'll be very interesting to see whether or not Shunya Are, whether he just sort of just lays down a bunt, slaps one, hit and run.
Right.
He slaps it all right, slaps it straight into the gap between first and second base. That'll be a base hit. Glover comes up firing. Does a good job to be able to hold Hayakawa to third base. Can't stop Hoshi scoring. So Hoshi crosses the plate. RA has himself an RBI single to right field. And another run on the board for the Japanese. It makes it 3-0. But this is the innings the Skyroos have got to find a way out of quickly. Because this one could get crooked and get a large number coming up very quickly. Again, the runner goes first pitch. And Gibbons doesn't have the arm to be able to fire him out. But not only that, they are getting such a big jump on the Jacob Foster pitch that even if Gibbons had a cannon on his arm, it was going to be very difficult to be throwing these runners out.
Yeah, it would have been unlikely, Cam.
This one hit high and hard into the left centre field alley, getting around Martin, lays out and comes up with it, does he? I don't think he does. I think they've got a real no catch. I'm just waiting to see the umpire with the runner at second base. No, they are going to say out. They are going to say that he made the catch. Great catch, Jordan Martin. It was just hard to see whether or not he actually came up with it.
Yeah, and it looked very much like from where I'm standing. It looked very much like, and you can tell when the guys, I suppose, a little bit of emotion and stuff as well, because you can actually see, you know that they've got it. And especially at this age bracket, because you can tell the guys, enthusiasm and everything is, hey, I've done it, I've got it. So, and he wasn't putting it on. So that's what I thought, that he actually did make the catch, and it was rewarded accordingly.
I was going to say, often in this under the 15 age group, they don't come up selling it like you might in a professional league where,
that's what I meant.
Yeah, it might have just half volleyed or something. Yeah, they don't come up and try and sell it to the umpire. They either catch it or they chase after it.
They're proud of their catches. He was definitely proud of making that catch,
absolutely.
as he should be.
A great catch for the first out, and that was Miwa with the sacrifice. He'll get scored a sacrifice fly as Hayakawa came across the plate. RA to third base, and 1 out, 3 runs on the board here in the bottom of this. There's a line drive straight up the middle. Nice piece of hitting that from Takahashi. He just lined it up the middle. He gets himself an RBI as well as RA crosses the plate. That's 4 runs for the innings and 5 for the Japanese. As Akiro Saihara heads to the plate. So Akihiro Sahara, he flew out to left field, Jordan Martin's first victim. Gibbons fires it over to second base, just not in time. The runner are taking off again.
And just having a quick look at the body language of Jacob Foster, and and his head's just starting to get a little bit down. His shoulders are starting to drop a little bit, and I think it might be a time for. I'm just trying to think. We've got
Graham Castle and Gary Everson are the 2 coaches for the Skyroos.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad thing to go out there and just either have a chat or have a chat in between innings.
Foster to the plate. This one is hit hard to left field. They're going to wind around the runner, and he is going to score. That will be Takahashi. He scores. And an RBI single for Sahara to left field. And I think it might be just about time for Foster because, as you say, he's just getting a little bit upset with himself now.
Yeah,
more so than anything.
It just tell by the body language, and it's just there. And again, you don't want to take the game out or the enthusiasm for the game and the love of the game out of the kids as they're playing.
Also got to explain to him that this is probably the best under 15 team.
He'll come across in a long time.
Correct. If Japan don't run sort of 1, 2, 3, 4 in the under 15 World Championships that are coming up in a week's time or so, I will be very, very surprised. And these were the boys that were vying for those positions. They had apparently had a squad of somewhere in the 40 or 50 mark and whittled it down to the 30 that they were allowed to take away. And a lot of these boys were of that last 20 that didn't quite make it. So it shows you the quality of the boys that the Japanese have brought out here. As Sahara takes second base.
They are quick.
Very quick.
Because he was backpedaling towards first base and then spun around and then still made it. So Foster takes his time, and there's another.
Hiraguchi with a little liner up the middle, but Matt Haynes all over it. Fires it across to Verez, the first baseman, and they will get the second out here now in the bottom of the third. Hiraguchi on the 6-3. And the ninth batter for the inning, Yuki Matsuda.
Japan, and the batter number 15, the second baseman, Yuki Matsuda.
Steps to the batter's box. Foster just missing up and out on that first pitch to Matsuda. So Hara headed around to third on that ground ball. Foster misses. Oh no, he doesn't miss upstairs. Gets that called. Thought that might have been a fraction high.
Yeah, just round the letters, Cam.
It all depends what the umpire wants to call. But yeah, I just saw Gibbons coming up out of his crouch a little bit early, but tries to frame that one down. The umpire having none of that one.
We saw some spectacular framing in the earlier game here, Cam. So, one of them was about a foot.
You've got to wonder what the umpire sees sometimes when the glove moves that far, but it is what it is. This is a little flare into right field. Glover all over it out there, and he will take the catch to end the inning. And not before the Japanese do a little bit of damage. 5 runs they score in the bottom of the third to lead this one by 6 runs to nothing after 3 completed innings here at Blacktown International Sports Park. Back soon. And welcome back to Blacktown International Sports Park. Sports Broadcasting Australia bringing you all the action of the 2018 World Boys Tournament from Sydney. Top of the 4th inning, Matt Haynes to lead things off for the Skyroos. One at bat for a single so far in this game. No real changes that we've seen rung at this stage, although that's definitely, I think, is that a different pitcher? No, this one lifted into shallow centre field. It'll be handled out there by Hoshi. Looking at my programs, no change.
No, the umpire panel didn't signify any changes either, Cam.
It just looked like a different finish to the action, but I didn't see the start to his wind-up, so that's all good. Takahashi still doing the work on the mound. Verez into the batter's box. He had a base hit his first time. Swings through the first pitch he sees.
I'm really impressed with how the Roos are getting the bat on the ball. That's all you have to do here is just, get a few hits here and there, and you're going to find yourself scoring a few.
So all you can do, isn't it? All you can do is hit the ball. Now, if you
Yeah.
happen to hit it into a hole, all well and good. If you happen to hit it to a fielder, well, so be it. But
Yeah.
if you get the bat on the ball, you're going to make, at least you're going to make the fielders make a play.
Yeah.
If you can't hit the ball, you can't win a game. I've never seen any team win a baseball game with 0 hits. Although I imagine it probably has been done.
Go back to history books. You'll probably find it somewhere along the lines, Cam.
There'll be a team that's had like 6 or 7 walks for for a couple of runs that have hung on. But Verez watches one cross the plate for strike number 3. Takahashi rings up victim number 3, 4, 5, 6. So the 6th strikeout for Takahashi, and that says something about the quality of the pitching. As Mackenzie said earlier, they have been dynamite on the mound all tournament. Nothing different here with Ray Takahashi. That breaking pitch again gets Harris swinging through it.
It still just amazes me. Sitting up here where we are, you can just see how much break that ball has on it. So
Sure.
imagine a batter seeing that coming at you.
And the difficult thing is, as a batter, once it gets up around your eye line, that all of a sudden it changes all your mechanics to your swing and what your brain tells your body to do and how to hit it, because you think it's going to be high. A lot of the time your brain will tell you not to hit it because it's got above your eye line. You think there's no way that's going to be a strike. And next minute, the whole way to the plate, it breaks down and makes you look foolish sometimes. Fastball from Takahashi in there for a called strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Has that good fastball as a backup, and that's something you need as a pitcher. If your go-to pitch is the curve, which it is with Takahashi, you must be able to come to the plate with that fastball to break it up from time to time, and he does have that as well. Goes with the curve again, and Harris can't lay off it. He'll go down on the 3rd strike.
He's just settling in. He's pitching good pitches, and you can tell now he's more relaxed. The entire defense is relaxed.
Yep, he's retired 10 in a row.
Yep.
Takahashi in the infield have retired 10 in a row, and so halfway through this 4th inning, the Skyroos struggling to get to Ray Takahashi, and they trail 6-0 over the Japanese team here at the 2018 World Boys Tournament. And back at Blacktown International Sports Park, glad to have you with us here for the 2018 World Boys Tournament. We head to the bottom of the 4th inning, and it is the number 9 hitter, Ion Ikeda, to lead things off. He led off last innings in the bottom of the 3rd, and he will lead off the bottom of the 4th as well. Jacob Foster still looks like he's on the mound for the Skyroos, so no change there.
Boy.
And again, PMAC, that's
Yes,
when
that's what I was about to
Foster,
say.
he falls off the side of the mound with that curveball and loses control of it. He must remember to come forward over that front leg.
And he's actually got some good coaching behind him in the likes of
Much
Graham
better
Castle.
pitch, but this one is lined into a right field. It finds a gap between first and second base between Veras and Padavan for a base hit. If anybody's going to teach you how to throw curveballs, Graham Castle's not a bad one to get you down there to learn from.
Yeah, because he's a good, he's a submariner, but you also have Gary Everson, who's been a part of the Baseball New South Wales high performance in the school system, and you've also got Mark Spinks, who's a former ABL pitcher.
Another big tall man that knows how to throw a baseball.
Yeah, from back in the days of the Canberra Bushrangers, Cam.
Yes, who faced the Bushrangers? I don't know, I can't remember. The Bush Rangers around in the first couple of seasons?
Certainly were.
Yeah, then I'd have played against them at some stage.
So he was back in there.
I've tried to blot that first season out of my memory banks, PMAC. 3-40 or whatever it was, 3-42 or something. It's not a great season.
Yeah.
As the runner goes to second base.
I know, I shouldn't hurt you by bringing it up.
Mate, it's part of history, unfortunately. It is what it is.
Yep, go back to the almanac, you'll find it.
It's there somewhere. Yeah, the
Flintoff and Dung.
yeah. More dung than Flintoff. Hoshi now has a count of no balls, 1 strike. Foster misses upstairs to make it 1 ball and 1 strike. Hoshi with a walk and a single has scored on 2 occasions, was the first run of the game, and then crossed again in the third. Runner goes to third. Gibbons will have no throw. And this is what hurts teams against Japan. They just cannot stop the Japanese runners advancing around the bases. And now all it takes is a little bit of contact here from Hoshi, and another run crosses the plate.
They just keep coming at you every time.
The teams that will success, and this is a comebacker, it goes off the glove of Foster, and that's going to knock it down enough that they're not going to have any play at all. Foster knocked it down. Padovan went back up to the middle to try and retrieve it. And unfortunately for the Skyroos, they just had no play. Ikeda crosses the plate. As I said, he was going to leave on contact. And a base hit, an infield hit for Hoshi. Brings in run number 7 for the Japanese. And I think something, as I said, the Japanese, what you would really need to play against the Japanese at this level is a quality left-handed pitcher with a pick-off move.
Yes, definitely.
And that way you might be able to hold them at first base for a little while. You're probably still not going to stop them running once you come to the plate, but you may be able to hold them closer to first base. You might be able to catch a couple trying to sneak an extra base in a rundown or get a couple on the base pads. But at the moment, the Skyroos just can't stop the Japanese advancing. They steal second, they steal third. It's as easy as that. You get on, and basically 2 pitches later, you're standing 90 feet away from home plate.
It's relentless.
So Hoshi steals second, Hoshi steals third.
Yeah, and poor old Gibbons, he can't do anything about it either.
Hayakawa with 2 walks on the night so far. He's looking for his 3rd walk of the evening. He's in front, 2 balls.
I think it's
3 balls or 2? No, 2 balls. I think 2 balls, no strikes.
Yeah, 2 only.
2-0.
When you look at where the runner is, Cam, that'll tell you.
That should have been the first 2 pitches, but I thought Foster threw another pitch in there. He did, in fact, throw another pitch in there. So 3 balls.
Oh, there we go.
So 3 balls and 1 strike now as Foster finds the strike zone to Hayakawa. Are we going to see him swing the bat? No, we are not. He's going to walk for the 3rd consecutive at-bat. And he will head up there to first base, and next pitch he'll be standing at second base.
And looks like Casso is going to, or Graham Castle is going to go to the hill.
Going to go out and have a chat to Jacob Foster, and not sure if that will be the end for Jacob Foster. But
it's been a good outing at the end of the day, and yeah, it will be the handed the ball to Graham Castle, and we make mention before about Casso being a Submariner, being a lot of years in baseball within Australia and New South Wales, as we see number 76 for the Skyroos coming to the mound, and that's Mark's young bloke. I'm pretty sure.
I would say it would be Wilson Spinks.
Yep. So there we go. They're just turning him around. So number 76. And that's Wilson Spinks, who we've seen play first base, and generally have fun on the ballpark. But Graham Castle, definitely a Submariner, a shortstop that actually converted to a pitcher.
There is a lot of them out there. If you a lot of the guys that can play shortstop can pitch, and a lot of pitchers like to play shortstop when they're not pitching.
Well, here's another bit of useless information, because as you know, I'm always full of it. But Grant Balfour, one of the more famous, or in recent times, he was a catcher. A catcher before he was a pitcher. So, people talking about people that convert. And But yeah, Casso's action has been fundamental for a lot of years, and he's just going to be good for the high performance and stuff that he's been doing locally as well. As we see, first couple of pitches from young Wilson Spinks. First two in the dirt.
Yeah, take a little bit of
So
getting used
just
to the
get
main
himself
diamond.
warm.
Yep, there we go. That was right on the money, that last one. But he'll go through his warm-up pitches. So it is currently 7 runs to 0. There's runners at first and third for the Japanese, so a possible 2 more there would make it 9-0. And the Skyroos are staring down the barrel of an early finish to this one if they can't find a way to get something done.
If he's learnt anything from father, he should have a very good curveball. Because Mark had, I don't know whether he still has because I haven't seen him throw, had a very good curveball and an extremely good pick off to second base.
You generally never lose a curveball and your action and everything. You just give baseball away and don't throw it anymore, PMAC. But if he's still playing, I'll guarantee you he still has a decent curveball.
For the Skyroos, number 76, Wilson Spinks, and at the plate, number 1, the left fielder, Shunya Arai.
So Wilson Spinks is done with his warm-up and gets ready to face Shunya Are. Runner goes as expected, and the 5 pitch misses upstairs for a ball.
And the Spinks family been around in the baseball community for many years, and part of a lot of the development in and around on the northern beaches as well.
Are takes that next pitch. Just misses, as I say, that one was a little bit on the low side, so 2 straight balls now on Are. This one hit hard but fouled off. Going to get up into the grandstand, is it? Yes, it is. Going to bobble around up on the first tier up there. As one of the juniors runs around to grab it. Are they going to pocket it or are they going to throw it back? We'll soon see.
Oh, they can bring it over here. We'll sign it and devalue it.
Yeah, we can make a $30 baseball worth $20 very quickly by writing our names on it. Spinks to the plate, gets a swing and a chopper foul by Are. So a good comeback from Spinks. Missed the first couple, but back with the next couple. Gets it to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Winds up the 2-2 pitches well inside and getting out of there in a hurry. Are didn't want anything to do with that one.
It was following him.
Yeah, in a gold medal match with loaded bases, you'd wear that on the number, but not in this game at this time. On a what is a cooling evening here in Sydney. As the sun goes down, it does get rather cold here in Sydney in the winter.
Nice
That one
picker.
is well handled by Verez at first base. It was hard hit down the first base line. Verez had to find it. He did find it, and he goes ahead with the put out to get the first out of the inning. Hoshi will score from third base. Not much that the Skyroos could do about that, but they make sure they pick up an out, and that will make the score 8-0 now in favour of the Japanese. Hayakawa headed around to third.
Oh.
This one is hit hard to centre field, but Donnelly all over it. Stands his ground, watches it come to him, and takes the catch very comfortably. The third sacrifice in a row for Takumi Miwa. He has 3 sacked flyers from 3 at-bats. So he's doing okay on the statistics chart. 3 RBIs and no plate appearances.
Yeah, there you go.
You've got to be happy with that
Gotta be happy.
as a statistic.
And we've got a pinch hitter coming into the game. It's number 18 for the Japanese side.
That's Kyoto Muri. Comes in for the pitcher Takahashi, so I'd say Takahashi is done for the evening.
Pitching for Japan, number 18, Kaito Muri.
So Kaito Muri into the batter's box for his first hit of the evening. 2 out, nobody on, and it is 9-0 in favour of Japan. Just a reminder, there is a run differential after 5, so the Japanese may be looking at that, hence taking Takahashi out of the game and bringing in another pitcher to throw what would be one more inning. So 3 straight balls now on Muri in his first at-bat. sees a pitch he likes, goes after it and can't come up with it. 3-0, I don't know. Oh, in fact, 2-0. Oh, that's better. I was going to say, I don't usually see Japanese batters swinging at 3-0 pitches. It's just not something that they do. 2-0, different story. 2-1 pitch swung on the hands, fouled away. Count to 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 out. So Spinks doing a pretty handy job after coming in trouble, in relief in the bottom of the 4th innings. Fires this one, which is lifted into centre right. Getting around is Donnelly. He has good speed, but he can't get there. And the ball will land in front of him. He'll have to return it to the infield. A base hit for Murray in his first at bat.
Starting to get a little bit chillier out here.
Yeah, as I said, once that sun gets down behind the horizon, the temperature does drop away fairly quickly here in wintertime.
And as much as it feels like there's a breeze blowing, you can look out at the flags and there's nothing.
No,
it's just cold.
It's just the
It's
frosts
winter.
and everything descending on us.
It is winter, and we're at the base of the mountains, or close enough to it.
So slowly but surely over the next couple of hours, the temperature will dive away from what was a very nice and pleasant sort of mid-20s, and about 22, 23 degrees at the height of the day. It'll drop away to about 10 degrees by the time midnight rolls around.
Yeah, it was actually a glorious day here earlier, Cam, and I know that you had to go play your semi-final, but not a cloud in the sky, and it was just a real pleasant Sunday afternoon. And what better place to have a barbecue but at a ballpark?
Yeah, nice move from Wilson Spinks. He got
See?
Murray leaving the wrong way, and that's the move to second base that
Did I not tell you?
that his father Mark was very, very proficient at, and certainly got Kato Murray leaning the wrong way. And for once, one pitch that the pitch he wasn't stolen on, and the fly ball into left field there on the next pitch to Sahara will end the inning. So Spinks does a really good job. Doesn't give up a run himself. There was an inherited run scored that will be inherited to Jacob Foster. So 3 more runs onto the scoreboard, and it is 10. No, it's not. It's
9.
1 and 5 is 6, and 3 is 9. There we go. I can do maths.
Use all your fingers and
Well,
toes.
You're wondering what the smell in the commentary box is. I'm trying to count on my toes.
Now we have a new pitcher. It's number 17. We did actually say that before. So for the Japanese side, is that Kyoto Mori?
No, it's Kairi Matsumura is the pitcher.
Yeah, nowhere near it.
No, 17 is pitching. 18 was the pinch hitter.
Ah, okay, sorry.
So they did bring in a pinch hitter, but now they've brought in an actual pitcher. So we will put Kairi Matsumura.
And a little bit of a spring in the action with Katsu.
We'll have a little bit of look at his action again. Very, very methodical,
Bouncy.
mechanical delivery from the Japanese. They tend to do this as he goes back. Again, that high glove raise from the wind-up position, way back behind his head. You're right, does that little bit of a bounce and then comes over that front leg. I think in time the Japanese will get him to take a slightly bigger stride and sort of jump over that front leg, or maybe he'll do that once he warms up a little bit more, because his actual push-off stride looks just a fraction short.
There we go.
And that's a bit better from the stretch. Yeah, once he went to the stretch, it's a much different throwing action, a much better looking throwing action.
And a lot of gas again.
He just looked a little bit short from the wind-up, didn't he, P-Mac? He wasn't getting quite over that front leg and really extending himself out. He was just, as I said, a little bit bouncy, but we'll see how he goes as he faces Jacob Foster. He won't be facing Jacob Foster because he's come out of the game. He will be facing Wilson Spinks.
And first pitch is high.
Just misses. And I think we'll see a little bit more pace out of Matsumura. Another fast ball that misses downstairs. So 1 up, 1 down. Matsumura just trying to work his way into the strike zone. Again, that little bouncy action before he fires. That's his curveball. You can see a change to the wrist on that. All stuff that will be worked on by his pitching coach. I'm sure they will be videoing somewhere. They'll have somebody videoing the action.
There's half a dozen cameras
Yeah,
up
they
there.
have many cameras sitting down there.
I was going to say that that's something that is very prevalent in Japanese baseball culture.
We'll
where-
tap into their feed.
They will, they will absolutely videotape everything and analyse it to the nth degree. But that is what makes them such good and such professional baseballers and a baseballing nation. That's way
Hey.
inside, and that'll be ball 4 for Wilson Spinks. A lead off aboard, only the third base runner of the evening after Takahashi retired 11 in order. In fact, make that 10 in order. His replacement, Matsumura, gives up a walk.
That's for sure a rare walk for the Japanese team.
This one is hit into the gap. There's nobody covering first base. He's
Yeah,
going to
they
get
will.
there just in time, Matsumura. He sort of left it to the last minute on that little hit that went in between second and first. The first baseman, Sahara, he went after it. He didn't get to it. And in the end, I think it was at a 9-3, P-Mac? 9-1?
No, it was actually only still a 3 to
Still
1.
a 3-1?
But it was just a training drill, Cam, because the way they're looking at it from here, and he's just acknowledged the actual out, because it was a training drill, well and truly outside. And the first baseman, he just threw it at the bag, knowing and having the confidence that the pitcher was going to be there.
They'd have done it 1,000 times in practice, and if Matsumura hadn't have gotten across there to the bag, then he would have had to explain to management why he didn't. He turns and fires at second base. Wilson Spinks, who was forced to head up there on that last ground ball. Matsumura around again fires to second base. Another left-handed pitcher from the Japanese. They're firing out some left-handed pitchers out of that nation of late. All have good motions and good actions from this stretch. There's a good throw. This one's lined up the middle. Is it going to get in for a base hit? It's going to drop. It's going to be a tough play for Matsuda. He's not going to make it. Matsuda's throw doesn't get there in time. And Glover's going to have himself a base hit. Little flare that landed just behind second base. There was no chance for Hoshi to get in and catch it. It was either Hayakawa, the shortstop, or Mitsuda, the second baseman, and neither of them had the gun to be able to throw out Owen Glover.
That was the type of hit that we were talking about earlier. If you just get the bat on the ball, something is liable to happen, and you're gonna get on base.
That's exactly right. I try to explain that to all the guys I play with on a regular basis. You don't have to hit the cover off the baseball. Just get the barrel around there, and if you can put the barrel of the bat onto the ball, anything can happen.
And let the baseball gods do what they do.
They, they are strange things, the baseball gods, and sometimes they will love you, sometimes they won't.
Yep.
And you just got to deal with it on a daily basis and get on with it.
And I've been interested to see a team that could actually hit the ball, that could get the bat on the ball against this Japanese team.
Oh, that one got away.
Oh.
Yeah, Gibbons in the batter's box. It gets through Ikeda. There's a play at third, but it's not going to be in time. Miwa is well inside the bag. He was not really interested in Spinks. So Spinks heads to third. Glover heads to second. Real chance here for the Sky Roos to whack a couple of runs on here in the top of the fifth inning. Maybe extend this this baseball game a little longer than most people thought it would go.
I don't think anyone's put any runs across the plate for against the Japanese team.
Mm-mm.
And I just think, go sliding into third base there. Wilson Spinks may have done a little bit of damage to himself. He's being walked off the diamond by Graham Castle. And I imagine they're going to put a runner in for him. Just making sure that he is okay. Yeah, looks to be okay as he goes across and has a chat. I'd say that's his dad that's wandered over there to make sure everything's okay.
Oh, yeah.
And yep, Graham Castle is going to make a change. Hoping that Wilson Spinks is okay, and I think that might be 77 Liam Herbert going out. Yes, it is.
This is a good time for the Japanese to have a discussion about, their pitching and what's going on, how they gave up those few hits. So
And
we'll
what?
see how they come back from that.
Yeah, and what are they going to do here?
Yeah.
If the ball gets put on the ground, are they going to come to home plate and try and save the run at the risk of giving up another base runner and a run, or are they going to just take the out at first base?
And Manager Castle has just had a quick word to the on-duty medic, so he's just going for a walk over to the dugout and just see if there's anything that is required.
So Shannon Gibbons with 2 balls and 2 strikes on him. There's 1 out, runners at second and third. Pitches in the dirt to fill the count at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Has had 1 at bat this evening, has Shannon, for a strikeout, but he wasn't Robinson Crusoe in that category for the Skyroos. Takahashi sat down 6 on strikes. But it's Matt Samura to the plate. And it should be ball 4. It is ball 4. I was just to say, Shannon Gibbons was standing there waiting for another pitch to come to him. But my count was ball 4. The scoreboard had ball 4 and the umpire had ball 4. So that's all that matters. Shannon Gibbons will get the walk. The base is now loaded for the Skyroos with 1 away. And a Liam Padavan to the plate. Can the Skyroos do what no other team's done at this World Boys Tournament so far and put one onto the Japanese? Matsamura, having none of that, starts things off with a called strike.
There's only 1 out right now.
Correct. So any ball on the ground, the runners the runners have to go. Japanese corners playing in. The last thing you really need in this situation is a strikeout. You say about just getting contact, put the ball in play, and maybe the Japanese will panic and throw one away or something, but you've got to get it into play here if you're Padavan. 0-2 pitch on its way, misses high. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 away, the bases loaded.
Strike 3.
Strike 3, yep. You're right there, straight through him for strike 3. And disappointing strikeout for Liam Padavan, his 3rd of the evening.
You have to swing at those. You knew it was going to be right there around the plate. Just try to get the bat on the ball, you know?
Correct. You must try and get something happening there.
But it's a learning experience. They're learning.
And that's what hopefully you watch it back and you see that sort of thing and you think, okay, I really should have tried to put a swing on that one. Yeah. Just protect the plate. Even if you can't put it into play, foul it off.
Yeah.
And then you never know, that next pitch might miss and then all of a sudden you're at a full count. And, the pitcher throws a bad pitch and you might be able to walk a run in.
Yeah.
But you can't, you just really shouldn't be giving up on the pitches and especially 2 strikes on you. Shorten up, protect that plate. Do what you can to keep things going. Martin in the batter's box, hits one towards shortstop, puts it in play. He'll go to second base for the out. Will Hayakawa goes to Mitsuda and he will get Gibbons at second base for the 3rd out. So as much as they threatened, they couldn't quite get one across the plate there, the Skyroos. They leave them loaded here in the top of the 5th. And we'll head to the bottom of the 5th with Japan needing 1 run to put the Skyroos away. It is 9-0. Japan over the Skyroos. Welcome back to Blacktown International Sports Park, the 2018 World Boys Tournament in full swing. We're heading to the bottom of the 5th inning, Japan leading at 9-0, and so they are 1 run away from possibly ending this one early. Looks like there's games still going on the outer diamond. Their diamond number 2. Looks like it's still in full swing.
I think that's Hawaii.
I did have the draw here. I haven't got it with me anymore. Doesn't
I think
matter.
it's Hawaii and San
front of you.
Diego.
Oh, there's the draw up there. It
in
is,
front.
in fact, Hawaii and San Diego. As Hiraguchi finds a base hit into left field to start things going.
I'd say in the next 3 pitches he's going to be over at third base. So
Although, I was going to say Wilson Spinks had a fair pick-off move, but it's not Wilson anymore, is it? It's Liam Padovan who's gone onto the mound for the Skyroos. And you're right, they're actually going to try and play a little short ball. Let it run, pick it up. As the ball just dribbles foul, Padovan picks it up the moment it crosses that line, which is exactly the way to play it. I find it a little bit surprising they bunted there, the Japanese. I really thought he'd just take a couple of pitches and let Hiraguchi steal second, steal third.
But they
the infielders are playing a little bit deep.
Yeah.
So a bunt right there, it would be hard for that third baseman to get over there to it.
Good
that's
point.
what I was going to say, because you can actually see from here where they've actually been pushed back.
Mm-hmm.
Take the opportunity, Cam, to send a cheerio to Longy, who's watching from Queensland. Happy Sunday evening to you, Longy.
So Padovan, he gets the ground ball out of Mitsuda. It goes straight to a second baseman. I think it's Liam Herbert playing at second base, it is. And he decides to go to first base for the out. So he goes across to first base, and they do get the out. The runner will advance, however, to second base. So 90 feet away, but the Skyroos might be able to keep this going a little bit longer. First pitch called strike on catcher Ikeda.
Well, we've only seen one game go pretty much full the distance, and that was the game 2 here this afternoon, which was actually a very good game, as we see this one being hit well and truly down left field's throat.
Yep, straight down the throat of Jordan Martin out there in left field. He has no problems catching it, so very quickly 2 out. A runner stranded at second base for the Japanese. They will not be expecting to have to go to a 6th inning here. They will have been expecting to have been in the dressing sheds by the time the 6th innings is done and dusted. But it is 9-0, and the Skyroos are hanging in there, and that's all you can ever ask of a young team. Don't give up, don't give in, just keep fighting away. You never know. The runner goes to third. Called strike at the plate. Yuga Hoshi, the batter. He's had 2 singles and a base on balls and has scored 3 of the 9 runs for Japan. Now
Runner definitely in a position to score now. All they need is just to hit it in the hole. Oh,
Or off the knob of the bat.
yeah.
Yeah, little Q-ender.
Yeah.
Going to be picked up in foul territory right off the end of the bat. The count to 0-2, so should take the bunt out of play. Although the Japanese are very crafty when it comes to doing something like that, but I couldn't imagine they'd be bunting. He'd be hitting away here. Imagine after a couple of singles already tonight. But it comes down to this: if the Japanese want to end it right here and now, they must find a base hit. The pitch comes in. It is lifted into shallow left. It's going to drop in for a base hit, and that is going to be all she wrote. The 10th run crosses the plate for Japan, and that should be time and game. It is called time and game at the plate by our home plate umpire. And the Skyroos have been very, very gallant here in this game against Japan, but they will go down under the run differential 10-0 here in the bottom of the 5th inning. So all done and dusted here at Blacktown for day number 2. A great performance by the Skyroos against Japan, but as we were saying in the preview and in the run-in, this Japanese team have been very, very good, and they have taken all before them so far and continue that here on day 2.
Yeah, and you're right there, Cam. It was just an overpowering display of baseball, as we see both teams just shaking hands at the conclusion, and there have been like team photographs at the end of each game being taken at home plate, but just an absolute a pleasure to actually watch the Japanese the way that they were playing, because I did make mention yesterday that they seem to be a team that are far more professional than some of our other teams that we've seen so far, and they were just here to play baseball. And the way that they play baseball, it's be it for the purists, I don't know. Well, Cam, you know my love of the game, but just watching the way that the Japanese guys play the game, do their warm-ups, do their exercises, come to the game, and just total respect, and it's so pleasing to see.
And I think that you can tell also with the other teams that they respect the Japanese team. You know, there was a Fresno or Alameda player the other day that was excited to get one of the Japanese kids' signatures on his book. So, you know, there's a lot of respect throughout the entire tournament for the Japanese. So I think that says a lot.
Yes.
That certainly does say a lot. Now the tournament gets down to the nitty-gritty. We've played our first 2 days. We've played our round robins. Out on diamond number 3, I can tell you it is 2-1 currently, San Diego over Hawaii. So that game looks like it's going to go the distance and go right down to that's in the bottom of the 3rd. So that one's rolling along very nicely. But now it's pretty much time for the tournament organisers to get their heads around all of the results and come up with the standings for the pools. I am pretty confident Japan will be team 1 in Pool B. Korea will be team 1 in Pool A. It will just come down now to, I think, the game that is actually being played now between Hawaii and San Diego. That will probably decide who finishes in second place in Pool B, I would imagine. Both of those teams, I think, will be very close. And we were talking earlier about the team that runs second in Pool A, whether it was Fresno or Alameda. Fresno going down to the Navy Roos. I guess it will probably have come down to who won the Fresno Alameda game last night.
That was Alameda. They took it, to all 7 innings. Alameda, they ended up just coming out on top. They got a hot bat, so
I guessing by that logic, and I don't have all the scores right in front of me, which is unfortunate, and that's my bad, and I apologise for that. But I'm imagining from Pool A, Korea will be the number 1 qualifier, Alameda will be the number 2 qualifier, and out of Pool B, Japan certainly the number 1 qualifier, and I believe probably the winner of the game out on the diamond being played now between San Diego and Hawaii will be the number 2 qualifier.
Yep,
so that gives us our semi-finals tomorrow. First game here on diamond number 1 will be Korea playing the winner of that Hawaii-San Diego game, we believe. The second game on here will be Alameda taking on... Oh, no, hang on. How have they done it? They've done... A1 versus
A1.
B2. So, yeah, Korea playing the winner of the San Diego game. And the second game on here will be Japan playing Alameda. So a couple of cracking games of baseball lined up for Monday here at Blacktown International Sports Park. We will hopefully be on air around about 8:45 tomorrow morning.
Of course you will.
All things
bright and
being
early.
equal.
You'll manage.
We'll be out here. The Godfather, Harrow, will be back in broadcast with us. PMAC, unfortunately, you've got to go up to the Central Coast on a little bit of work duties.
That's correct.
Rebuilding a racetrack up in that direction,
yes.
a greyhound racing track. So that needs to be rebuilt up there, but I will be back on board. Mackenzie will be back on board. She'll be pushing all the buttons and have a headphone on over on the side. So we will all be back here bright and early tomorrow morning. Again, we'll post everywhere we can post where you will be able to see those games live, because our YouTube channel at the moment has a couple of little hiccups in there, but we've organised another one very quickly to get these games out to you.
We certainly have, Cam, and before we actually sign off, I need to say a big thank you to Mackenzie for actually jumping on board and learning very quickly on the fly of how to push the buttons and get a stream to actually work. So do it officially and
Thank
online
you,
and
yes.
offline. It's
Thank
actually
you. I
heads up
appreciate
and
it.
well done. Thank you very much.
So with that, we will say goodnight from Blacktown International Sports Park. We hope you enjoy your weekend wherever you may be around the world. If you've still got a little bit left in the States or over that way, enjoy it. If you're here in Australia, the weekend is just drawing to a close. We hope to see you tomorrow, Monday, here at Blacktown International Sports Park for the semi-finals of the 2018 World Boys Tournament. On behalf of Mackenzie Payton, PMAC Paul McCulloch, I'm Big Cam Hickson. We hope you enjoyed the coverage. We hope we see you back here tomorrow morning. Until tomorrow morning, we will sign off from Blacktown. Have a great evening and see you tomorrow.
See ya.